Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Hello and welcome everyone. You have arrived here for the Risen Esports Divine League Week 2 matchup between Honeyfruit Gaming and First Blood Inters. It is Lemons, it is Gofrino, the constant duo here, coming at you live. And we got picks and bans already rolling through here for you. We have Honeyfruit Gaming taking away the gangplank. Graves is looking like the answer here for FBI, and it is. Ezreal comes straight off the board afterwards. Looks like Honeyfruit Gaming have some definite decisions already made for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the Ezreal and Graves ban make a lot of sense here since they're obviously very strong, and honestly, Ezreal is probably the second best AD carry in the game right now. I want to say Varus has fallen a little out of favor due to the little bit of nerfs he got this patch. And then, of course, there is 200 Years, aka Aphelios, who's probably top dog. Has not been touched yet this draft, though, so we might actually just see a Honeyfruit Gaming first pick Aphelios here if it does get through, since...
Did you see Larson yesterday, though? I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago. Did you see the 200 Years play in the LEC?
Yeah, I think that was yesterday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was yesterday. I mean, that was just nuts. It makes me never want to see this man on the Rift again. Although we have an opportunity here because he's still left up. Definite ADC focus here, Go Farina. We have the Vayne coming out as the last fan for Honeyfruit. They went with Varus and Syndra inside of FBI. There comes the 200 Years, baby, right off the bat. It is one answer perhaps by the Senna here, though. Which could be a very interesting choice.
The Senna did actually get buffed in the 80 carry role this patch. I tried it out a few times myself in that bot lane, and it doesn't feel bad. Like, sure, I don't think it's ever going to reach the peak strength that it once was, or like even compared to Fasting Senna's peak strength, but I mean, it's definitely going to be workable. You pair it with the Nautilus here, that's pretty fine and dandy. Although, going into the Thresh here as the Senna can suck a little, since your auto attacks, they have a notoriously long windup for 80 carries, and
yeah,
I mean, that just is inviting any hook to hit you.
It is. You set yourself up with a semi-playable lane here for the Nautilus Senna, who is going to have a bit of strength there. I do have to agree with your points, though. I think the Thresh is a perfect pick here for Honeyfruit. They also go with the Trundle, and we've seen very high highs for Trundle and very, very, very low lows, especially. So I'm very interested to see how that pick is going to kind of play through, especially getting it now as the third pick on blue side. Set was the answer for FBI, so they are going with a little bit more of a bruiser style comp for themselves right now, at least. But we're gonna have to see what these bans do in the second phase and how it kind of whittles down the champion pools as we see the Ornn taken off as well as the Zoe for either side.
Yeah, and the Trundle has been getting a decent amount of nerfs recently, including this patch where he did get that 10% MS removed level 1, and I was watching Ellis's patch breakdown video, and he explained it that he's basically losing boots for most of the game when he presses that W, and that's kind of a huge deal when you don't really have any natural gap closers on the Trundle. It is forcing him much more into that role of like a little bit of a duelist, but also like definitely there as like a tank stat stealer with that ultimate. That being said, though, we have flown through the second phase of bans already, Lemons.
We definitely did. Cassiopeia came off the board there for FBI. Then Wukong was the takeoff for Honeyfruit, which I'm a little confused. Although we did see Wukong bot lane, so you never know, I guess. But I don't know how that kind of completely fits into the composition that FBI were going for. They do pick up the Kiana for themselves, which we haven't seen a lot of recently, but still has that lethality that you're looking for.
Yeah, all the nerfs on Kiana have gradually added up. And in general, like 80 assassins haven't been too favored in pro play for a while now. There are some like niche situations, and Kiana definitely does have a lot of tools. Because I mean, there was that whole phase last year where she was pick or bang, because she just either threaten to kill you or just instant clear the wave like level 3, 4, and then just immobes and rush around the map and kill everyone. That has been hindered a little since she has gotten some nerfs, but the supreme display of talent, that's still one hell of an ability, and I mean, it kind of reaches all the way around Baron Pit, and that can be a little bit handy for any late game team fights here.
But I am so flabbergasted right now, Go Farina. I am confused. I don't even know. So we have HFG, who have picked up the LeBlanc and Gragas as their last 2 picks, while having the Trundle still available. So we could see a lane Gragas here. I mean, I don't expect Trundle to go in a lane. I mean, it could be interesting matchup there for sure. But then FBI, with the gall of it all, go with the Shyvana to top up their composition here.
Yeah, and Shyvana always raises the question, are we going to see the AP build where you kind of don't do anything?
I feel like you have to go AP.
Yeah, if you do go full AD here, although don't get me wrong, Shyvana actually does do a lot of magic damage even when you go for the AD build, since a lot of her damage does come from the Flame Breath on hit if you do go that AD build, because it is percentage max health as magic damage, so you still have to itemize against that. The burnout damage is magic too, so it's a lot of mix. Granted, it definitely wouldn't be enough to supply all the magic damage your team needs, and if you were going full physical comp here for her FBI, especially with a Senna 80 carry who isn't really known for her DPS, much more of a supportive champion, it is going to affect that a little if you do go for the AD Shyvana. So I too am kind of leaning towards it potentially being a AP Shyvana.
Well, I think we have a lot of options here, and I think it's a really good sign for game 1 from both of these teams. And this is the best of 3, so we have some adaptation to come through for game 2 and possibly 3, depending on how these matchups go. And I'm really interested to see some answers here and get to see what the strategies are lying behind this, because these are some compositions. Yes, they have some typical pieces that we see every single day from the meta. They also have some quirks to them that I'm really happy to see.
Yeah, because there's a lot of flex potential here, because I was glancing over a Twitch chat just now, and everyone's just kind of debating where everyone's going, and it's kind of like you can debate that for both teams here. Like, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, and we're probably not going to know 100% until we see them all locked in, although we do see the big ones locked in. It is going to be Set top, Shyvana jungle, Trundle top, and Gragas.
There still is a possibility of some trading going on, but yeah, no, I at this point I feel like you just lock in where you're gonna go, especially. And the biggest thing for me is I think the Gragas Trundle matchup, or like the Gragas Trundle mix here for the side of HFG, just because it is such a weird combination, I feel like, and it doesn't have all that much synergy in my eyes, but it still provides two really strong options. You have the full AP from Gragas that can just decimate teams and have that objective control that you're looking for, and Trundle provides a lot of the same, just maybe in a different aspect this time.
Yeah, and I mean, Trundle, he still does have hell of split push potential. You just typically see him in the jungle because that's where he tends to be favored, because of that pillar being such an annoying tool for ganks, and the frozen domain helping you close a lot of space. Whereas in the top lane, the frozen domain is more so for split pushing and, of course, chomping on towers. And you are forced more into 1v1s. Your teleport ganks aren't nearly as good as some of the other meta top laners, but it is still definitely workable, especially here in this matchup, since this is Diamond Elo, so you're definitely good, but this isn't like super min-max pro play. Although, no offense to the players, because this is still pretty damn high Elo.
It is, for sure, and I'm sure we're going to see some fireworks on the Rift, no doubt. And now that we have our compositions more than likely locked in here, still have about 20 seconds, possibly, for some things to switch around. I mean, I think the biggest thing would be seeing Nautilus and the Senna switch up. But hey, maybe Laud is just the clutch Nautilus player of the two, and he's going to play the more support style. I guess it wouldn't be more support style, because you're still looking probably for that fasting Senna, so Nautilus is still going to be taking a lot of the stuff. But with these compositions put together now, we see the Shyvana in the jungle this time. Set's in the top lane, which is where I love to see Set, either top or jungle. I don't so much like the support Set. But then you have to look across the way and look at the matchups here. I think the Kiana LeBlanc matchup is going to be really interesting. I think the Aphelios Thresh bot lane is going to be looking to be aggressive and trying to get an advantage down there. And that means we could see Gragas heading down towards that way and trying to get something rolling that way. Because as you said, Trundle's going to be more of a split push option in the top lane. You're going to be looking for those outs, those moments that you can get some extra tower damage and stuff like that. Yes, some early gold could help Trundle, but I do expect the Gragas to affect a little bit a different side of the map, for sure.
Yeah, and like especially also if you look at the mid lane, because assassin versus assassin matchups are always a classic case of one side's going to snowball and the other side is just not going to get to play the game for the most part. They are some of the most volatile matchups in League, honestly, if not the most volatile. So we might even see Chingbear look towards mid, since Cindy Bell on the Shyvana isn't really going to be doing a lot early if you are going for that AP Shyvana. And even if you do go for the more traditional AD Shyvana, like, you still can't really gank until you get that ultimate. because otherwise you don't really bring anything to ganks except you're just running at them and doing a lot of damage.
For sure. I'm really excited to see the Trundle set matchup in the top lane. I think Zamudo can have a really big impact on the rest of the game with that pick especially. And honestly, when I'm looking at the compositions here, I'm looking at perfect showstopper combinations coming through. But we will have to see how that all turns out. Compositions are laid before you. We see what we're gonna find on the Rift, and we'll have to wait just a little bit longer while we get through a spectator delay here for you. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back with Honeyfruit Gaming versus First Blood Enters. We are back and on to Summoner's Rift here, ladies and gentlemen. We have Honeyfruit Gaming versus First Blood Enters. Both 1-0 in the Divine League so far. We're going to have to see which one can take that next step and which one is going to fall 1-1. But we have to get through this best of three first. And we don't get any spiciness to start us off here, Gofrino, unfortunately.
Yeah, just standard 5-man fan from each of these teams. Not any real surprises here. Although with the Thresh and Nautilus on the Rift, you definitely can try for level 1s. And even with the Ching Bear, if he wants to, he could level the Body Slam level 1. It does slightly hinder your clear, but it's still doable. And if it's like, it's basically just a level 1 pseudo gamble. Like, If it works out, that's really great for your team. If it doesn't work out, it sucks a little, but it's doable. Either way, though, looks like it is just going to be pretty standard here. Everybody just going to be doing the usual.
The huge indeed. Now, we did talk about it a little bit while we were getting ready for this Go Farina. We do see the Dark Harvest on Cindy Bell for that Shyvana, which means we're going to see that AP build more than likely. I mean, I guess you could still technically go the AD build, but I definitely am leaning towards the AP build here. The other thing we spoke about was looking at this Trundle a little bit more and trying to find a way for this Trundle in this game. And already seeing that go down here, we're going to see a level 1 fight going down. Scuzzrat, the Trundle, actually showing up at level 1. We obviously know that he has that strength, and with the Conquer can provide a little bit more damage early on. But man, Zamudo is feeling it.
Yeah, and another important thing about Trundle's dueling is, of course, the Chomp. Level 1, it's lowering attack damage by 20. And keep in mind that Zamundo, he only has base 71, so whenever he gets hit by that Chomp, that's almost like a third of his attack damage going away each time, which is kind of a huge deal at this point in the game. Although I am kind of surprised that Scuzzrat went for the Conquer here, since Trundle actually doesn't have the best time stacking it up a lot of the time. That's why you typically see press the attacker, even if you wanted to. If you're going top lane Trundle, you can go the Grasp if you just want a bit more of a chill, farmy sort of deal. Orbit, gonna go for the hook, gonna miss the hook.
You saw immediately both members there, Yoo-Hoo and Orbit, walk straight forward as soon as they saw level 2. And immediately you see a K and Law just like, nope, 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 I'm pulling back. I see you. You got level 2 first. It's all good. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, because, I mean, it is kind of one of the unspoken rules of bot lane. Whoever gets level 2 first gets control over the lane for a little bit for free. And level 2 does always come up on the second wave on... Do you kill the melees, I believe? 9 minions, I think. Either way, though, I mean, having to respect that and knowing the timings, it's the makings of a good bot laner, or at the very least, not a feeding bot laner.
Yeah, for sure. And Zamudo has been having a bit of trouble with the wave management here in the top lane. As you can see, there's going to be a big wave crashing here into the tower. But besides that, we've not seen very, very much dominance coming out from either side. But we are going to see a fight here. But it looks like it's going to be Ching who gets the smite on the Scuttle, and now it's going to be Cindy Bell who's weirdly stuck inside the pillar. Going to have to burn the flash, but guess who's waiting on the other side of the wall? It is the killer guy with the first kill of the game. That's going to be First Blood going over to the side of Honeyfruit Gaming, and Landon's going to have to run for the hills. Predator was popped by Ching there, but not going to be able to get anything here. We're going to see the engage on the bot side. They got a lot of damage here. It is a Senna and a Nautilus. TP's coming down here. That's the LeBlanc coming to join the fight. And that's going to be a big join indeed, as now they're going in. The burst damage is there, but the root is there as well. Now the re-engage. They got damage across the board, but they can't drop anybody yet, Goferino. As a K is going to get rooted down, that's going to be a kill going over 200 years. As kills come through, that is going to be Aphelios picking up one for himself. Now Scuzzrat's getting low. Zamudo is going to be close, but on the bot side, you see another kill going over to the Aphelios. Yes, they take a 2v1 in the top lane, but bot lane is a disaster right now.
Yeah, and all the laners here for Honeyfruit Gaming are now ahead in the kill department. Gonna be ahead in the CS department as well, too, which is kind of a massive deal here, Lemons, because you now have a kill on the Trundle, a kill on the LeBlanc, First Blood at that, too, and then, of course, 2 kills on Yo-Ho. Here comes Cindy Bell.
Here. Yeah, they've got a complete flank here, though. It's going to be close. Landon's going to try and get the damage down. Heal goes through, flashes out aplenty. Ignite comes through, though. That's going to be a kill going over. Orbit is the next to fall. After everything is said and done, we are 4-2, with 2 of those kills going to Landon on the Kiana.
Yeah, and that was a nice little shutdown picked up here. That was on top of Yo-Ho here for Landon, so he's going to be appreciating that. But if we take a look at the inventories here, Lemons, Yo-Ho, he's coming back to lane with a BF sword to boots and cloth armor on this Nautilus. Not exactly what you want to be seeing.
For sure. It's not the way you want the game to go, but we've got a lot of swords in here. Go Farina. We got swords aplenty, apparently. We got 2, actually 4 on the Trundle. The Trundle's carrying 4 swords right now. I don't know what to think about that, but that's pretty ridiculous. I guess he would just need a Volibear skin with the swords in his back to be able to carry them all. Anyways, that's another tangent for another day. We get to see the dragon started up here by Honeyfruit, and they are not going to be contested for it. So it is going to be the first dragon, which is an ocean dragon, going over to them here pretty simply.
Yeah, and I mean, that is the power of getting this bot lane ahead right here, because Sentinel and Nautilus isn't going to be able to do too much to contest that when they're already down a little bit, because Sentinel and Nautilus, they're be having to rely on their base.
He's in the minions doing all the damage. He doesn't even care. But Phelios is already this far ahead, Gofrito. What does that mean for the rest of the game? The chakrams are flying. The damage is there. Law just gets caught thinking, and he is going down. I mean, that's just nuts. He's in the middle of the most gigantic minion wave you could ever possibly think, and Laud is sitting there thinking, oh, I've got this. It's all good. I'm Nautilus. But yet, he does not.
Yeah, that is the power of the chakrams in a very closed-off space like that, especially with all those minions to just be pelting. Zamunda has to be careful here. That's a big hook in the bot lane.
Yeah, max range, Dredge line gonna connect. He's gonna hit the death sentence here. Ching is on the backside of this fight coming in. He's gonna get a lot of damage onto Laud. That's gonna be enough. I can't stand to see this happening here. Now it's going to be a supreme display of talent used on the killer guy, but he's able to use the double dash to get out. And it is chaos, complete chaos, yet all going in favor of Honeyfruit as they are just hand-feeding Yoo-Hoo kills here.
Yeah, talk about going from bad to worse here, Lemons, because that's now 4-1 of Phelios, pre-8 minutes. He already had enough money for the BF sword. He's going to back here, and yeah, that's a full set of Berserker's Greaves, which it isn't an Infinity Edge slash Essence Reaver, whichever one he wants to rush here first, but it is still going to hurt nonetheless, and it is going to be so hard to deal with. We already see Laud rushing the Tab Eyes here, but Tab Eyes aren't going to be doing much when you're 0-3 and against a 4-1 champion.
No, it's not going to do anything really at this point in the game, but you still have the later parts of the game to hope for. You have some possibilities in that aspect, but Zamudo and Scuzzrat just love to go at it here over and over again. I guess that's what you can expect from bruisers in the top lane for sure. But it's just crazy to me that we've seen this constant aggression, this constant fighting in the top lane, but really the action has been going down mid and bot lane, as we're going to see and speak about it. Killer Guy is going to have to try and get out of there. Gets about half his health taken down there, but is able to survive.
Mm-hmm. Although taking the Killer Guy down to half health, pretty big.
He's waiting again. Oh no, he's just getting caught out. That was Laud looking for the outplay. He was looking to go right back in on the Killer Guy as soon as he made it in the lane, but the person waiting around the corner was Ching Bear. He's able to come in and pick up the kill. 7-2 now here for Honeyfruit Gaming, and they are all the way in the lead right now, about 3K gold on top.
Yeah, and most of that gold is kind of currently in this Phelios' pockets. 1,700 gold of this 3K difference in his pockets right now. And you got to feel bad for Laud here, Lemons, because he was trying to set up that big brains outplay like you said. But the brains had turned on him, and he got 300 IQ. That's a big hook, though. Look at Ching Bear. He is around the corner.
It was about to be another situation where Laud gets caught out. But the damage from the Moonlight Vigil was so unbelievably close to taking down Laud. Luckily, the healing flash play is not going to connect. That was a bad call by you, Orbit, as he is going to get dropped there. It does land yet another death sentence here. It's going to be a flash by Laud. Guess who's right around the corner again? Ching Bear. Just ready to go in, ready and willing. Able to pop that Predator, try and get that extra movement speed. Meanwhile, the Zamudo is going to get subjugated there, but it's not going to be enough to take him down. And we're now just seeing oppression across the board coming through here for Honeyfruit.
And silver lining, though, here for FBI is that they were able to pick up that Rift Herald here onto Sandy Bell. That's going to be nice now that he's finally level 6, and we are going to hit that pause. Still, I mean, Cindy Bell finally hitting that level 6, he can finally start trying to do things, and with this Rift Herald, if his ganks do pay off, I mean, then he can look to try and reclaim some of this gold deficit for his team, but it's not exactly what you want to be using the Rift Herald for. You want to be using to an extend or garner elite, not just bring it back up to status quo.
Exactly, and it's definitely not in the best position here. You do have another dragon coming up in about a minute's time, which is going to be a mountain dragon. I want to see Cindy Bell contest over that. They have level 6 now. The dragons are doubly beneficial to a Shyvana, and you haven't really been able to get priority over that area of the map so far. And you kind of need to. But Shingbear has just been completely down towards this bot lane and floating in between because he knows he doesn't have to worry about Scuzzrat in the top lane. I think that's something that's really interesting that's playing out here in this game so far.
Yeah, because it's just been since level 1 in the top lane, Scuzzrat has had the number of Zamudo, and it's only been getting a little bit worse here. Zamudo, though, to his credit, has been holding on fairly well.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, we are going to send it to a small little break real quick while we get through this pause. Apologize for the wait, but hope you all can stick around with us as we'll be right back.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard.
We are back. Sorry about the delays here, folks. We did have pause come through for a disconnect and a bunch of Discord issues, you know, all that good stuff. But we are back. We are into the game. I know you all missed us, but we are here and live watching League of Legends unfold before our very eyes. Go Frino.
Yeah, and a lot to be said here, because a lot, well, not a lot happened during the break, but we did have
a lot happened during the break, but
yeah, we did have a lot to look at during the break, namely the exact same stats for several minutes on end, 17 minutes actually to be exact. 17-minute pause.
17 minutes to be exact.
Yeah, sadly took a little bit of time, but action.
This is the engagement that you're looking for. Kay is able to get a kill there. The engagement from Cindy Bell was beautiful, but now the re-engage, the casket is there. Kay's gonna get talked down by the killer guy, but the follow-up is not there. Looking a little bit worse for wear. That's Laud going back in. Don't know why he decided to take that fight. Meanwhile, on the top side, it's actually Zamudo who takes down Scuzzrat after we've seen the assertion coming through from the Trundle. He turns it around, and we are... After that long pause, maybe it's exactly what First Blood Knights had to do to get into this game, because apparently it's all working out for them now as they take the dragon.
Yeah, oh my god, that's a huge Supreme display of talent. Shingbear, he's basically dead here.
The little Ignite on that way out was great. Zamudo comes rushing in like he's going to pick up a kill, big face breaker, but that's going to be the Gragas taking the dragon, and he's able to survive a little bit longer, but he gets taken out. That is now going to be the rest of the members falling here. Trundle is able to get a trade kill onto the Kiana, but the dragon still goes over to Honeyfruit Gaming after all of that craziness. And Killer Guy is looking to pick up a kill for himself, does get one as the Rift Herald is spawned, gonna have to defend against that. But man, this is just craziness going on here.
Yeah, craziness indeed. So many kills happening, and somehow Qingbear stole that dragon with a barrel. I want to believe that he just left sitting there in the pin, and that's kind of absolutely huge here since, I mean, Honeyfruit Gaming, they did come out worse for wear after that, and great teleport there by Zamudo, because before we saw that dragon fight, I was about to say, like, even though FBI, they were the ones to initiate that fight, they still went 2 for 2 in the bot lane, or 3 for 2 if you want to include the solo kill in the top lane, but it wasn't the best. But after that pretty poggers thing, Orbit, a little caught out here, gonna get rooted up, gonna get blasted back, and there's a dragon on his tail. I don't think he's gonna make it out of this one, Lemons.
Definitely not. Orbit got a bit caught out there. The Dragon's Descent did come out. Now we're seeing Zamudo up here just taking the damage. He tries the Haymaker, but it misses a bit. And now it is going to be Scuzzrat looking to go in. Does take the kill. And in the mid lane, it's going to be Landon getting taken down by the killer guy. Gets the casket thrown at him. Doesn't even matter because the LeBlanc is there to secure that one. And so we see Scuzzrat take his domination back to the top lane after getting caught and dying just a little bit ago. And then in the mid lane, things are just going swimmingly here for Honeyfruit. And they did have a bit of a lapse of judgment, I feel like, coming out of the pause, but it seems like they've got their train back on the tracks. It's a little bit wonky, but it's still rolling.
Yeah, definitely not the most solid of tracks, but oh my god, with a second to spare, Scuzzrat is able to get the first tower of the game solo gold. And keep in mind, that is 5 plates worth of solo gold. Each one of those is worth 160 gold. So times that by 5, that's what, 800-ish gold combined with the tower kill there. And it's already put him out to a 1,600 gold lead over his opponent, even though they are even in kills and even in CS.
Indeed. And now we have the Infernal Dragon that's going to be on the Rift here, the Soul for the Infernal Soul. Not a dragon for another 2 minutes and 20 seconds, but that is the exact dragon that you're looking for both of these teams. And that makes me put more precedence on the side of First Blood there to get some of those objectives. You didn't do a good job. You weren't even in the fight for the first dragon. The second dragon, it was yours. You lost it to a barrel, and that just feels bad. Third dragon, I feel like it's just so important. I mean, first of all, you put them on soul point. That puts you at a huge deficit when looking at objectives. But you need to get some of this damage in for yourself. Now it's Landon who's going to get caught out. Does have some response there from Cindy Bell, but it's too late and too little. Now Zamudo is here on the side lane. He's trying to get some speed there, try to get something in for himself. Destin, it's going to land. Might have overextended himself. Now it's Chingbear getting overextended. Speaking about it, as he's going to be taken down. That is the Dawning Shadow that was used as well as the casket. So ultimates abound, but it is 2 kills for 1 in favor of, oh, make that 3, baby. As that is going to be more going over now. It's actually 2-2 in all of this trading going down across the map.
Yeah, but a 6-2 Aphelios now, like, and a 5-1 LeBlanc. Those are going to kind of be very hard things for FBI to deal with here, quite honestly, Lemons. And they're able to get that tower in the bot side, but they're already down 2 towers across the map, which it just feels like FBI is one step behind in a lot of these trades. Although, if you do want to talk about a good perk up, if you take a look at the bot lane here, what was once an 0-5 bot lane is now 4-7. So definitely a bit of a perk up. And then if you want to include the assists here, it is a total of 9-7, so they are positive now at least.
Hey, that's all you need, right? The only thing that the side of Honeyfruit need are more kills on the carries, because that's exactly where all the money's been going. It's been perfect, and so far they're really showing up with it. But it's going to come to those later decisions, especially this dragon coming up in 20 seconds. I want to see how the fight turns out over it, as we actually do get to see Scuzzrat just starting up the Rift Herald. So it's going to be a bit of a 4v4 here until we see either a TP or a move down by Zamudo, who is now going to check the Rift Herald or move down. He's going to catch Scuzzrat right at the end of this. It's going to be a big fight going on while the dragon is spawning. Everybody else is running. Vlad gets an engagement there. There's going to be a lot of damage going down. All the ultimates used. Yu gets taken down, but Zamudo is going to have to flash over the wall to get away. It was actually the killer guy who went away from the fight towards the dragon pit to go help Scuzzrat. And they actually are able to get that objective for themselves. Now we see the dragon being started. This could be the first dragon going over to FBI, but is Chingbear going to be able to steal again? That waiting barrel, they don't want to fall for it again, as he's just going to get dropped. Chingbear, I don't really understand what you were doing right there, my friend. I know you were waiting for something, but it seems like you waited just a bit too long, as the dragon's finally going to go down.
Yeah,
and it goes over to FBI.
Yeah, and I think Chingbear actually failed the body slam over the wall, because I could have swore I saw him just kind of like flip his belly into the wall a little there. I'm not entirely sure, but still, Rift Herald going to be dropped in the mid lane. I believe it got that charge off, and the Dragon and a nice kill onto Yo-Ho going over to the side of the FBI. But you have to remember, on the flip side here, they were able to pick up the top laner's flash, the Rift Herald, mid lane outer, and a charge onto mid lane inner here on the side of Honeyfruit Gaming. So definitely even trade in terms of overall stuff. But FBI, they do have to be feeling pretty good about that, considering they have been on the back foot for the most part this game.
So, I don't know what to think about this, Gofrino, because before the pause, before the 17-minute pause, it was all Honeyfruit. They were completely dominant. And yes, you can play some of that into, yes, it was just early game. But there was a definite difference when we came back in. It wasn't the aggression that we saw before the pause. It wasn't the map movement that we saw before the pause. And honestly, I feel like that pause affected a lot for this team. And now, 15 to 13 in kills. We were like 8 to 2 during the pause, which was nuts. Aphelios had 6 kills already at the beginning of the game. And now the gold lead's getting smaller, the kill lead's getting smaller, the objective lead's getting smaller. And it just seems like it was such a pivotal point in this game, number 1.
Yeah, it is such a pivotal point indeed. And when you do have 17 minutes to kind of chill down after what was quite, frankly, not exactly the best start, so to speak, here for the side of FBI, it definitely was a good mental reset for them. And it may have taken away the mental momentum that was built up by Honeyfruit. Although Honeyfruit, they are still in the lead. Killer Guy has to be careful here.
He's just going to get caught out, though. He's going to try the little sweet movement back, but that's a lot of ultimates. We're already coming down. Now Zamudo is going to try the showstopper. Doesn't survive very long. Sheen Bear is going to be able to not get out of that one, as he's going to get taken down by the tower shot.
I don't know if Bear actually had to show up for that one. I think Scuzzred had that one, although if it wasn't a top lane set, I do believe that 2 versus 1 would have worked out. It's just, you know, the showstopper into tower aggro, it's kind of a bit much a lot of the time.
Just a little bit, Gofrino. Just a little bit. But there's just a lot of damage coming through from both of these sides, and it's all about these catchouts. And Laud hasn't had the greatest Nautilus performance for sure, but the Death Charge comes in handy. The CC comes in handy. So if you can set it up for the rest of your team, as we've seen multiple times before so far, and why we've gotten caught up in the kill lead, they can really pull out these team fights. But it's really about these big fights. We haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen the big 4v4s, the big 5v5s, because we have the split pushing coming through from Scuzzred, who's constantly over there, constantly needing somebody to respond to him. But I do think we're going to see some interesting things if we get to some of those big team fights.
Yeah, and we should be with how the game is somewhat stalling out here. The gold lead has been mostly stagnant here from pre-pause days. Although the Killer Guy, he's going to be coming up to Zamoto, has backup of Bear here. We'll have to see if they're able to secure this kill.
It's a lot of AP damage. Zamudo just can't choose the target for his Haymaker. He's not even going to be able to get one off. As Killer Guy is able to pick up another kill. It's exactly the gold deposit that you want in the bank of the LeBlanc. The Flash and the box come out from Orbit. Big cooldowns for sure. Maybe needed, maybe not. The world may never know. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tessie Pop?
How many bites does it take to get to the center of the base? As if you take a peek at the bot lane here, Scuzzrat was knocking on those inhibitor doors, and I'm going to send over Landon to respond to that. Kind of a bit of a big deal, as the rest of the FBI composition just kind of trying to ward out around this dragon. Bear going to have to dash on out with his blubber. Orbit kind of missed the hook.
So, I mean, that was the strategy coming through here all along. They didn't care what the Trundle got countered by or what they were picking the Trundle into, because they know they can use the Trundle as a split pusher. And so far, it's been really working out well for them. They've gotten down to the inhib towers in mid and bot. And now they're going to get a catch out here. That's going to be Cindy Bell going down. TP coming through here, maybe a little bit overzealous, but they're going to look to this dragon now and put themselves on Soul Point.
Yeah, that teleport, it's just more of a security teleport, just making sure a 80% play becomes a 90% play there, since you have everybody there after you make a pick. It's a 5 versus 4. Usually win those compared to 4 versus 4, which might be a little bit more dicey. Plus, also, it does help you secure that Soul Point, of course, and Infernal Soul, nothing to mess with, especially when you have the Scuzzrat constantly split pushing. That's just going to make his dueling that much more intense. And of course, if you look at the other members here, Bear, Guy, and Yoho. Getting Infernal Soul is going to be a bit of a big deal on these burst and high DPS players.
So now we're seeing the response that Landon is trying to deal with Scuzzrat, but I still think that Zamudo has a chance there, and I still think that he should be the primary responder there to the Trundle, but we have seen multiple times now. It has been Landon going to the side lane to stop that, and we'll have to see how that affects the big fights here, especially because you don't have the TP on Landon, and if you keep responding to side lanes, you're not going to have that extra member there. Meanwhile, Zamudo does have the TP, and you need to match Scuzzrat's TP for sure, because if he's going to make a play in the team fights, you need to be there as well. If not, you're just making your team lose an unfair fight.
Yeah, and especially putting Landon to me as a little bit of a question mark. Sure, he's doing better overall compared to Zamudo when it comes to not dying as much. But you also have to remember, he's building primarily lethality here, and Scuzzrat already has that Iceborne with Tab Eyes and with a Mountain Dragon, so it is going to be kind of hard for this Kiwana to get through this Trundle, I feel. Although Killer Guy, bit of a different story, Supreme Display Talent going to hit on.
Oh, the ability synchronization there from Landon was absolutely amazing, but it doesn't matter because guess who is following you? Moonlight Vigil comes through to pick up the kill. And that is 200 years yet again. I mean, at this point, I feel like we're getting past 200 years. This man is on fire.
And
that's
on
going to be a big fight.
Scuzzrat
takes no damage. I mean, the subjugate onto Laud is definitely a big one, and it's going to give him all that extra help. But Cindy Bell is that full AP Shyvana, doesn't have the health and can't do the damage to Scuzzrat here, but that's going to be a big amount coming through here. Flash goes out for Scuzzrat so he can get out, but that's Aphelios. Look at the damage coming in! That sentence lands. That's going to be a big showstopper, but he doesn't survive for long. Laud's getting caught out by Chingbear, and that's going to be 2 kills going over. Actually, make that 3, apologize, as the Landon came through a while ago. But they were able to get 3 in total from that entire engagement. They get out with losing nothing there, at least nothing so far, but they're looking for more. They want to catch out Cindy Bell, who is going to get away for just a little bit longer. My goodness, those Severum shots are just melting away the health bars of the Dragon Lady. And now we might get to see a back come through here from Honeyfruit.
Yeah, and definitely a bit of a long-winded fight there if we consider it started well over a minute ago with that pick in the top lane onto Landon, who is now once again back in that top lane. So we've kind of come full circle, I feel, Lemons, so to speak.
Indeed. And we are going to see a big reset come out here for the side of Honeyfruit. But really, I just feel like Chingbear has been so crucial in these fights and in these engagements there. And yeah, sometimes a little bit overextended every once in a while, but it doesn't go without the other plays that are just unbelievable. Now we're going to see the outplay come out here. Killer Guy's looking to get Landon. Doesn't want to go into the jaws of that combo. He goes forward with the flash. He doesn't even land the chain, but he still picks up the kill. And that is a confident statement coming out there from the side of Honeyfruit and from the Killer Guy.
Yeah, and that's just going to be a Baron startup here by the bot lane of Honeyfruit. They don't have their jungler quite yet. He's on mid lane clearing duty, but with how fed this Aphelios is and the fact that he has the Chakrams right now, he can do so much damage to this Baron. Here comes Bear just to secure, but Cindy Bell does have the Dragon's Ascent and can potentially try something here, but with that Baron already being gone.
Oh my goodness, the damage! That's it! That's done! Yu's gonna take another kill. Just not even expecting it coming out, Gofrino. Cindy Bell just walked around like it was a wonderful day in the watery park of the river and just gets blown up by the Aphelios, and that is just a symbol of how this game has gone so far.
Yeah, like AP Shyvana, I do feel like it is a lot more of a solo key pick. Obviously, if Cindy Bell is comfortable on it, by all means, do it. But to me, Shyvana is just kind of a bit more of a budget Gragas, since Gragas can bring so much more utility. Sure, you might not have the insane levels of burst with just a singular ability, but you can still put out relatively comparable amounts of burst, and you're at least able to have presence on the map. Although, of course, Bear has the Gragas this game, so it's not like Cindy Bell would have been able to grab it for themselves.
It definitely feels bad because, like you said, Cindy Bell just wasn't in a position to do anything. He still gets taken down, and now Landon's the next to fall here. Supreme Display of Talent's going to come out, but it doesn't matter. Nice hook onto the Zamudo there. Big showstopper coming out, but that's still Scuzzrat in the back line. You're just delivering the tanks to your own back line there, as now Laud is going to get taken out next and foremost, as Ching Bear is going to go ahead and get the speedies on. Looking to get Cindy Bell here. Can he get the angles? That's a flash body slam picking up the kill. Why not use the spell if you have it available to them? They're going to be pushing in the base with the Baron buff. They're going to get the Infernal Dragon Soul. And this is just going to be game number 1. Maybe not right here, right now, but it could possibly be a Go Karina.
Yeah, it is definitely the most dire of times with being 10,000 gold down, losing that soul, and you already have all these members hammering away. Keep in mind, though, we are going to have some respawns coming in. We have Landon back, Zamunda going to be back in a few seconds, along with Laud. Cindy Bell still 10 seconds off, but that might not be fast enough since this is just going to be infinite looks.
Yeah, Dawning Shadow comes through, but the game's over before all the abilities land, and that is going to be game number 1. Honeyfruit Gaming, who after a 29 minute game that really took a lot longer than that, they come through on top still with a lead being gotten in the early parts of the game, and then a bit of a rocky mid game, but then finishing out strong, like they never even dropped the ball.
Yeah, and I do feel like a lot of the difference that game just comes down to drafts, since I wasn't a fan of Senna fiesting Senna with Nautilus. I do feel like if you had gone 80k Senna with Nautilus support, that might have been better bot lane. But as it stands, bot lane just fell behind so heavily early on, thanks to some ganks, thanks to some outplays, and that is what helped Honeyfruit Gaming snowball so hard. 9-3 on the Cephalios, of course, the killer guy putting out outstanding work himself, and the Scuzzrat able to do that too, solo for the most part. And FBI, they're going to want to tighten up their draft for this next and upcoming game, I feel.
Yep, sounds about right. Well, we'll have to see how it goes on the other side of this break, as we're going to have game 2 getting ready for you. Make sure you meet us back here. Go get yourself a drink. Go get some snacks. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for game number 2 between FBI and HFG. We have a swap of sides here this time. FBI on the blue side. They take away the Trundle. They don't want to deal with that split pusher anymore. Graves still comes out as the first man there. On the red side, going to take that big profile pick away as well. And going to have to see what FBI want to follow it up with.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see, because so far, these bans following suit from last game, except that Trundle, which was formerly a Gangplank last time around. FBI banning that away this time, not exactly wanting Honeyfruit to be back on that again.
Indeed, indeed. And Gangplank comes out from the red side this time, as it did get banned out in game number 1 as well. We see the Varus taken away, and now see all those years come off the board here as Felios is taken away. Not going to be in this one this time. Not going to see any of those crazy plays yet again, as Ezreal is also the ban coming through here for the last one in the first phase. I have to see what FBI want to pick for their first one. As, okay, I don't know if I like where this is going, as FBI did not show up on the Senna in game number 1, but they pick it anyways.
I mean, I feel like if they get the right center lane here, this will be fine. I just feel like support fasting Senna with Nautilus 80 carry, well, bot lane carry isn't exactly the best, in my humble opinion. So we'll have to see how FBI goes about it this time, if they are going to try the Senna Nautilus again. But, of course, the Syndra does slip through since that ban was used on the Trundle this time around, and that is going to be grabbed up here with the Thresh for Honeyfruit Gaming. Syndra, obviously, the most powerful mid laner of this patch. There's a reason why she's always banned, and she can even go bot lane too, if Honeyfruit Gaming do want to flex that down there.
For sure. Yeah, I've seen a lot of strength. I mean, obviously, I'm a big LEC fan. We got to see Reckless pull out the Syndra for the first time ever and actually do really well with it. But I think it just provides that extra strength down there, and it provides the flexibility in the draft that you're really looking for, as we saw last game with all the flexibility we had. Just kind of kept you guessing until the very end. But then with the fact that we are going to see the Syndra come through with that Thresh, could be a lethal combo on the bot side. But we do see something a bit different come through from FBI, as they go with the Echo and the Ashe this time around.
So, Senna Ashe, it does mean that this is going to be a support Senna once again, and that does mean the bot lane is going to have an immense amount of utility, but picking Senna Ashe into Thresh, especially if that Syndra gets flex bot, this could actually be tragedy, since they just have a lot of long-range CC there. Ooh, Draven, yeah, Draven's another yikes for Senna. Ashe is at least able to poke out and keep the Draven at range thanks to her slows, thanks to, of course, the volley, but not having any mobility for that Thresh is gonna suck quite a bit, and Draven can just turbo snowball in this lane if this Ashe and Senna even misstep just a little bit here.
I would really like to see this set ban come through for Honeyfruit, because I feel like Set and Echo can make such a lethal combo together, especially if you can connect the parallel convergence with the showstopper, and you just get this big juicy stun onto a carry or whoever you're trying to focus on. So I do like HFG taking that away. I'm so worried here for the composition of FBI though. Like, it doesn't seem like they have everything that they want, and I don't know how they're going to get the pieces they want in the later parts of the draft, because the composition is just A bit questionable for sure so far, but we'll have to see. We still have a couple picks left, still some high-profile possibilities. As we get through the second ban phase, we do see Gragas, Ornn taken off on the blue side. That set that I had mentioned, plus the Mordekaiser taken away for the red side. I'm going to have to wait to see what this first pick in the second phase is going to be.
Yeah, as FBI, they do need to tighten up this comp a little bit here, I feel, and there is a lot they can do. But the Olaf coming in, that is going to negate a lot of the utility of the Senna Ashe lane, and it's just going to make this AD carries and support AD carries life even harder. Iron would be very interesting here, because the Olaf can just kind of run over you in the jungle, which can be a bit of a yikers. Okay, the J4 much more generalist.
I was going to put a funny caveat in there. This man is running around with 2 big axes, and you are a tree. I don't think they kind of go together. I mean, just throw that out there. But he goes with the man with the long sword anyways. So we do get to see the Jarvan come through. Don't know how that's going to mesh with FBI's composition here. They definitely seem to like to take weird, wonky things into the solo lanes for sure. Obviously, Echo isn't like weird and wonky, but it's just not something we see all the time. The Renekton pick I really like for FBI. It provides them a little bit more stability, especially around the top side that we saw be a bit of an issue last game. And now it's really up to HFG how they want to round out the composition, because they have some strong points and a lot of similarities with last game composition as well.
Yeah, and HFG, they do have a lot of pick potential here. It might not be the best team fight potential here unless they get snowballing, although that Vladimir being locked in, that does bump up the team fighting prowess quite a bit, thanks to the Hemoplague being quite the AoE tool to nuke team fights. Although Vladimir into Renekton, that might be a little bit of a yikers here if you don't play correctly. Sure, you do have the pool to hop into, but the pool does cost 20% of your current health every time you use it. It does have a very long cooldown, and Renekton's stun, it is on a much lower cooldown than that pool early on. So, gonna have to be playing this Vladimir fairly careful in the top lane.
You will for sure, but it will have a lot of team fight potential later in the game, and that sustainability that you're looking for. That means also that you're going to be pretty much forced to go Executioners or Morellos on the side of FBI, because you have to deal with that Vladimir no matter what. And if you don't, then you know what happens. So with the compositions, I still have to say I think HFG come out on top of the draft, at least, as these 2 games from them have just been so solid in the drafting phase.
Yeah, and both these games have definitely been solid here in the drafting phase for Honeyfruit Gaming. The only real qualm I have with this draft so far is that the Vladimir was picked into that Renekton, and that can be a bit of a pickle matchup. But if you are able to survive that, of course, it does help the team fighting quite a bit. And Vladimir is, of course, a really nasty, like, second round pick in League of Legends. You don't usually see it picked up in the first rotation, since it does come with some pros and cons picking the Vladimir, and you do want to pick it in specific circumstances. Obviously, it's not like turbo specific circumstances. It's not like, oh, you have to have XYZ comp and it has to be like a full moon. Now it's like, there's just like a set checklist of things that
I like the full moon aspect of that one. I think that one should be more utilized.
I mean, that wasn't Aphelios' original kit. The design was like, what if we had like his weapon based off the phase of the moon? And thankfully everyone was like, no. Have you seen the intelligence of the average solo queue player? Like, they can tell you
wouldn't we be in a better spot though? Because right now all you have to do is be you have to have fingers, and you can just press buttons and you win. So like, I don't know.
That's true, but then you'll have people who'll just avoid playing ranked until it's like a crescent moon or something like that. Because they need the right type of gun.
The second you start putting time gating into League of Legends, I don't know about it. I feel like it just digs even more of a hole than we're already in. But compositions here, I'm looking at Zamudo, and last game, it was definitely a bot lane diff for sure for HFG, and you got to see Zamudo play a little bit to his strengths. Was a bit far behind to actually have a chance, but I think if you give Zamudo some more resources, if you send Cindy-Bell up that way, because you already know the bot lane's not going to be a fun time. You're literally against a Draven and a Thresh with a Senna Ashe. Like, you just have no chance. And so I want to see the resources being put to these solo lanes.
Yeah, like as an AD carry player, when you said Draven and Thresh versus Senna Ashe, like that immediately make a It's not cringe. It's just you're gonna. I can already feel the pain that they're likely gonna have to deal with during this playing phase. Obviously, though, Draven is a bit of an all or nothing champion, so if Cindy Bell is able to make some magic happen early on this Draven, able to like shut down Yoho's Draven early on, then that is gonna help this bot lane out a lot. But the biggest scariness of the Draven, of course, is the snowballing. If he gets early kills, then he just comes back to lane with a BF sword of like 6 minutes, and you're stuck with like double Dorans or something like that.
Yeah.
Or there's even another possibility where you're like just farming it out for the longest time, like, oh, I haven't got caught, and then you get caught by one hook like 7 minutes in the game, then Draven cashes out for like 800 gold, and you're like, internal monologue screaming.
For sure. The thing I see here is that both teams do have a bit of scaling to themselves. Obviously, it's definitely in favor of Honeyfruit when you look at the Draven, the Syndra. You know, that wonderful press R button that you're always looking to outplay that you can never outplay. But it's also going to be about how FBI want to get rolling in this, because you do have some of those mid-game power spikes that I'm definitely looking at. And it's going to be how Cindy Bell positions around the map, how the pathing goes down, and how effective the ganks are going to be. But we're going to have to find out on the other side of this spectator delay. Thank you all for sticking with us so far, and it'll be just another few moments until we get onto the action on the Rift, and we'll be right back. Hey, you've made it back. We are in game number 2 of the Risen Esports Divine League Week 2 matchup between Honeyfruit Gaming and First Blood Knights. We have some spiciness here, Gopherino. What are they going to do with it?
Well, it looks like Invade is going to be the call, and there's actually no one in this bot lane Tribush yet for the side of FBI.
If they can get in there, Lana's going to be in so much trouble. Okay, gets the ward over, thank goodness. I was like, if you just face check that Tribush after not having walked to it immediately, that's just a bad time. But hey, they get out without falling susceptible to the early pathing, the early invasion coming out from Honeyfruit.
Yeah, and it does mean, though, here for the side of FBI, they're able to actually get an invade on this red buff, potentially. This might be really risky with Scuzzrat coming up. He might even sniff it out, although I think Scuzzrat passed over a ward here. No, he did not. Okay, that was just a blast cone indicator on the map. And Cindy Bell and Zamundo not actually going to spot him out either, as far as I can tell. Either way, though,
they had a ping on him as he walked by. I think they might have just barely seen him because of that ward, but they were not seen by Scuzzrat. So
yeah, that is a huge part here.
Yeah, I mean that's huge because you are going to see Ching go up that way more than likely. I mean, he does have vision on the enemy red though. We're going to see a level 1 gank though.
Yeah, they're going to see this red buff here.
Scuzzrat had no idea that was coming.
Yeah, he had flash too, so you could have reasoned, hey, maybe he just flashes out of that, but like you said, it didn't look like he had any idea what was coming, not even able to get a single creep. With that being said, though, Bear does, of course, oh my god, KTA, please.
Yeah, that flash is coming out, and that's going to be another kill going over. Ching Bear able to pick that one up, but KTA, a bit of a misplay there, not going to lie. He missed the third auto attack on the killer guy, and that means you don't get that movement speed, you don't get that extra damage, and then he was just kind of left out to dry there.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that he decided to tank a tower shot at level 2 as Echo, which is definitely a little bit of a yikes, and being put behind on this Echo is actually going to suck, since Echo's early laning phase can be a little bit rough if you don't get those early all-ins. That's why you typically see the teleport on the Echo, just so you can get that free back, although KTA mid instead opting for the Ignite this game, so definitely much more snowbally if you can get it to work. But with the current state of the game, there's a flash play actually into the hook, into the Ignite. I don't think this Ashe is going to live. Never mind, actually. Just a little bit too soon for the rest of the members to really respond. Their killer guy out of the stun range there, sadly, but forcing out the flash from Laud. Kind of a big deal here, since he's not going to have that flash up for another 6 minutes, and you're going to have that hook up in another 15 to 20 seconds.
Exactly that, and I already see Orbit looking for the hooks. You do see Reset coming through from the killer guy, going to use a TP to go mid as well, and nothing too crazy here so far. You have 1 kill on the Renekton. Now we're going to see you go in onto Laud here. That's a lot of damage. The Draven's getting a bit low, though. You got to watch out for the kill. He doesn't have the vision. And now he's going to get taken down. This could be the kill going over TP, but that's a flash. And the flash from Zamudo enters it away. And that's going to be 2 kills given over, 3-1 in favor of First Blood. And that is the way you want to start off game number 2 here.
Yeah, and that is the hard part of killing a Senna Ashe lane, because the exhaust was still up. There is a lot of CC, and you have to keep in mind that Yoho was kind of solo tanking 2 members there for a lot of that fight. So not having Orbit there to tank up the main primary factor of damage, not having his base damages in there, really setting them behind in this lane here. Like, a Draven that has to go on first back here after dying and buying a cull is a bit of a sad and sorry state to see this Draven in. Granted, he can still come back into this lane. It's not over by any means, but it is going to be a huge momentum blow here.
The biggest thing there for me was the vision game. That felt so bad because Laud was literally one shot. And he had the spinning axis to get the extra damage off, but they didn't have a ward available for that push. And Laud legitimately just got to sit there safe as ever while Yu was like running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to figure out, do I go in for the extra shot? Do I start running away now? Luckily, started running away, but in the end, it didn't even matter because Zamudo had seen the flash come out, knew that he could get the kill and get out, and did so perfectly.
Yeah, and still though, up in CS and getting this early Ocean Dragon is going to be pretty poggers here for the side of Honeyfruit Gaming, especially when you look at the lanes here. Scuzzrack going to be forced to insta-pull away from that flying and drag. Does have the flash too, nice but nothing else really to get on him. KTA mid, of course, in danger here. Orbit just throwing out the hook there for posterity, trying to just stall a bunch more time. It does mean Yoho alone in the bot lane is going to have to forfeit some CS, but after getting that early Ocean Dragon, and Orbit is going to be back in that bot lane soon enough, it's not going to be a huge loss. Although KTA mid going in pretty hard here. There's the passive proc. Killer Guy going to have to watch out for the parallel convergence.
Yeah, Killer Guy's not... I mean, he's looking to get the aggression there because now it's going to be Chingbear who has arrived, but he doesn't have a lot of damage. Here on the bot side, we see a Death Sentence land. They're trying to get Lawed this time. They are going to be able to. That's going to be a kill going. But he doesn't give it to you! As that's the Draven missing out on the stacks there. That feels so bad. As the auto attack was just waiting to be leashed out. And now we're going to see Zamundo pressing his dominance in the top lane. Not the dominus just yet, but does have it available to him. And Scuzzrat's literally one shot. He's going to try to get some healing back. That is going to be dominus pop. Killing spree for the Crocodile Man in the top lane, feeling good with the hater shades on. Now we're going to see Chingbear get engaged on by Cindy Bell. You don't have the damage. You don't have the health here. He's going to use the smite to try and get a little bit more damage on Cindy Bell. He's taking the hits. He goes right into the Killer Guy, but he can't get him. He finally does. That's going to be Syndra being able to pick up the kill after giving my heart a run for its money.
Yeah, a lot of action across the map. It starts in the bot lane. Yoho not able to get that kill there because Orbit's Ignite actually secured it. And then in the top lane, Zamudo almost instantly deletes Scuzzrat's health bar there with just a single combo. And now this play the Rune King finish for this Crocodile, things are not looking good for Scuzzrat, as if they weren't already bad enough being down 0-2 now, down 20 CS. And it is definitely rough times for the Blood Mage, who is totally not a vampire, guys, canonically speaking. Although he does have a vampire skin and everybody calls him a vampire. I digress though.
He digress. Perfect timing. But we are going to see just a bit of farm. Actually, Orbit's going to get caught out here. Luckily, you do have the dispersion there from the Draven, but that was really close to being a kill going over. Scuzzrat, gotta be real careful in the top lane there, as Renekton has started to put out so much damage with that Blade of the Rune King. You are seeing Cindy Bell take a very aggressive jungle path for the majority of this game so far.
Yeah, although it did kind of backfire on him at that one blue buff invade there, and it kind of shows one of the strengths of Olaf, because Cindy Bell not quite able to burst down that Olaf in time, and just the attack speed combined with that Conquer and the Conquer healing, and a bit of a smite healing too, just to be safe. It kind of meant that Bear didn't exactly die there, and Cindy Bell also forcing out his own flash there, having to waste a lot of time for giving up everything, actually. Yeah. So it is a very
started by Cindy Bell.
Yeah, should be able to solve this one out. Will take a little bit of time, but under no worries. Granted, if you look at the bot side of his jungle, currently have Bear and the Killer Guy just going around, taking some camps, and they can even take that run buff too.
Well, and Chingbear's already pretty far ahead on farm, so you're going to be feeling pretty good. And it's going to be a lot of time spent by Cindy Bell, who's just now picked it up now, looking on KTA mid, not going to go for it because KTA was going for a more safe direction there towards his jungler who had just gotten done taking Rift Herald. What they didn't know is he didn't have any help because Cindy Bell was just going straight to his jungle, didn't care about coming to help mid lane. So if Chingbear and Killer Guy would have engaged right there, it probably would have worked out in their favor. But that is the beauty of our vision versus the player vision go for you now.
Yeah, sadly the players only have half an eyeball from their helicopter, whereas we have both eyeballs.
That's yeah, that's a thing. But hey, no kills going over just yet, at least. at least at this moment. But the fact that we have had such an even game here so far is just so crazy to me. Now we're going to see Zamudo get baited in like a trap there, but it's going to be KTA who comes in at the end. He does not have enough to do anything really. He's going to look to potentially use the chrono break here, but on the bot side, it's you who's taking another kill. That could be a second one. He's going for the spinning axes, but who picks it up? It is the Draven. We have a double kill going over to them. Syndra picks up another one. Do we see a triple? You didn't commit, you! But can he? Man, he had that auto attack in the bag, and now he's just going to die to the minions. Okay, check that. Dawning Shadow, I guess, comes down finally. That makes me so tilted for you in that situation, because he literally had the auto. You could see Draven throwing the axe, and then he just stops.
God, that was the most Papega-ass thing ever in the bot lane. That little dance to try and get the kill. I mean, still, it is a double kill in the end, going over to Yuzu.
It is.
And it was quite the cash out, too, as he's able to pick up quite the pretty penny in terms of items here, finishing off the Zerkers. Although Cyndaquil starting off the Infernal Dragon for his team here. There's a teleport coming up from this Vladimir, though. Look for this collapse. The stun lands.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage on Delod, who's looking to just turn onto the dragon, but they have taken control of the objective. That's going to be the second dragon going over to Honeyfruit, and it's not looking good top lane, but it's looking good everywhere else here for them, and they are starting to use that control to dominate the Rift here so far, but they're just leaving the Crocodile Man up in the top lane. He can stay on his little Crocodile Island as long as he wants, and keep farming up there while everybody else gets pretty fed around the other parts of the map.
Yeah, although Scuzzrat, I think he just dies here.
Scuzzrat, come on, my dude! He just gets taken down as Zamudo, taking advantage of the positioning there, and Scuzzrat, I expect to not see that happen again.
Hopefully. I mean, basically top lane is a lost cause here. Scuzzrat can do some things in team fights, since you do always have the Hemo Plague, you do always have the pool, although we might have a little bit of a dive in the bot lane here. Bear was spotted out a while ago. That is going to be the missed landing. There's the arrow.
A lot of CC. Yeah, but that means that there's no real CC under the tower now. With the pullback, that's going to be the Draven picking up another kill, 4 and 2. Now with almost a 2.3k gold lead over the Ashe here, and that's feeling amazing for this Draven, who just thrives off of gold being dumped into his inventory. Now Zamudo is just just making Scuzzrat look so rough here, and that's just going to be another kill going over. And unfortunately for Scuzzrat, he's still worth 300 gold, so definitely not liking that one. That's a little squirt there from the killer guy trying to get some damage back. And now it's going to be a catch out here. KTA is canceling all of these auto attacks, and now it's just going to go down. I just don't know what to say. I don't know anymore, Gofrino. That feels so bad. Like, there were 3 auto attacks in that fight that he just canceled for some reason.
What did I tell?
I don't know. My brain hurts, Gofrino. My brain. The amount of canceled auto attacks. The amount of just canceled auto attacks in this game is like the most feels bad man situation I've been in a long time, and I'm just watching it.
Yeah, and like, cause the guy, he should have been a dead man there, or at the very least be a man who gets out with his flash. He should have not got a double kill in a 1 versus 3 dive.
Oh goodness. Well, and the thing is like, that was the moment you're like, okay, well now it's totally FBI who are making the initiative here, but we're going to see a continuation of what we saw top lane. That's going to be another kill going to the Draven. You hear the crowd yell as the kills come through, and you know that you're sitting in the right spot as that Draven.
Yeah, right spot is one way to say it. Infinity Edge is another way to say killer guy. You have to be careful here. There's the Bork popped, and the move speed would have been able to get Zamudo up there, but Scatter the Weak stun able to do enough there. Just curious if Zamudo took unflinching. No, he did not. Okay.
Oh no, killer guy. He gets taken down. But now in the mid lane, that's going to be Laud taken down as well. Not the greatest series so far. But at least the big thing here is you still have a Crocodile Man who loves to create chaos on the Rift. You are going to get to see the Whirling Death come out, though, and now it's going to be the catch-out. Huge hook going in from Orbit. That's going to be a big flag drag that gets him out of there. Now KTA has to be careful. That's a big axe coming through. Death Sentence was right behind it as well, but they aren't going to be able to get anything. Here comes Zamudo in the back. That was you just flashing immediately because he knows exactly what's coming his way. The ADC is going to go down. That's going to be another big stun. Huge Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming across the bow as Ching Bear stays alive for another couple seconds. Killer Guy's going to take one down with his unleashed power. Zamudo is chasing him down, though, and from rags to riches, it is going to be FBI who take the fight and actually come out on top in that one.
Yeah, because that was a 5 versus 4 there. A beautiful start to the fight there with Zamudo. Just able to get that beautiful flank down, and Scuzzrat did not have the teleport, so he did not join in there, although I don't know how much he would have done in the face of that. And that is going to even up the gold lead here by 2,000 gold, so now only 3k separating these two teams. But with this Earth Dragon spawning up here shortly, with Zamudo not having his teleport and Scuzzrats coming up soon enough, I mean, Honeyfruit Gaming, they might just look to take this dragon here, as it has already been started up by FBI, but look at where Bear is. He's going to spot this out. Let's see if he pops the Ragnarok to try and contest. There's the Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah. He immediately pops it, gets the dragon, puts them on soul point. Is he just going to walk out? Now he's going to take the fight, because why not? You're swinging axes like a madman, and it's Yoo-Hoo who comes in with the spinning blades as well. They just have an arsenal to themselves, and they are using it beautifully.
Yeah, because there was some momentum picked up by FBI there, but they weren't able to pelt down that dragon fast enough, and it's kind of a night and day difference here, Lemons, between when FBI has Zamudo in teamfights and when FBI does not have Zamudo in teamfights, because they kind of need Zamudo in teamfights here to have a chance of winning them. Looks like he will be coming down for this one. It will only be 3 members of Honeyfruit on the bot side. That is going to be a nice arrow onto the Thresh here. He is going to get rooted up. I don't think Orbit's going to survive this one.
Yeah.
Look at the back, though. Here comes Croco.
Yeah, on the backside of the fight, though, not fully confident going. Now it's Scuzzrat on the top side, going to buy some time against KTA, but now it's going to be the engagement from Zamudo. Power Unleashed goes down. Now it's you going to get engaged on, but he pops up on the side there. It will do so much damage. My goodness, this dragon unstoppable. Triple kill coming out. He goes down in the end, but the Killer Guy is still there, still waiting. Rift Herald goes down in favor of Honeyfruit Gaming as well. We're still seeing the fight 1v1 on the top side.
Yeah, but KTA mid's low on mana, and there isn't Olaf coming in. So we'll have to see if he's able to get out of this one. Doesn't have the doesn't have the chrono break here. Gonna pop the passive, but that is, of course, the Ragnarok. KTA mid. One more axe. Nope. Cinderhulk. And I just wanted to take a look here if our lovely producer could bring up the gold totals. I want to take a peek at Yoho's gold here because he's sitting on 11k, and take a peek over at Laud, who's sitting on 6,000 gold. That is 5,000 gold between these two AD carries. That is nearly the entire gold diff of this entire game.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is. But you can't really do much about it. Also, I want to, like, I'm going to have to get some clarification. I'm pretty sure his name is Yoo-Hoo. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe? I thought it was Yoho.
But you would pronounce it you, because it's, I don't know. We'll get that figured out. Sorry about that, folks. But anyways, engagement, that is just going to be Laud getting 4-shot by a Draven and a Thresh. And honestly, not much else you can say about that.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things where there's nothing you can really do. You're over an item and a half down on the opposing AD carry, and there's nothing you can really do as this Ashe. Like, do you try and get farmed to try and catch up here and then get punished for it, or you just sit back and not die, but you also don't get any farm whatsoever? It's kind of a screwed if you do, screwed if you don't sort of mentality. Either way, that's a big hook.
The hook. Gonna land, beautiful flay. Okay, right in the middle of it, and guess what's coming down right on top of it? It's the spinning axes from Draven, able to pick up the kill. They're going to continue. Laud gets caught out by a Flay, and it's just going to be one by one into the feeding machine that has become Honeyfruit Gaming in this series. And yes, they aren't going to go for the killing blow. They sure are going to rack up that gold lead.
Also, shoutouts to Scuzzrat, who's just been spending the past like 10 minutes trying to catch up on this Vladimir in side lane. I mean, I don't blame him. AD mid, he's gonna have to pop the Chrono Break here, but keep in mind there is still the Unleashed Power, and that's gonna finish off the second fight in the bot lane.
You just can't do anything about it. That's going to be a Cataclysm that's flashed out by the person that initiated it. That's when you know you're not in a great position in the game. Here's Scuzzrat's going to continue to fight, but he is a Vladimir, as he does have a lot of health, a lot of sustainability. Yu is playing so far forward here as well, as they're going to look onto the inhib. That's going to be another catch out. Laud's going to die. There's no way.
Laud is definitely going to die.
The game is going to end here, more than likely. The thing I wanted to point out there is it feels so bad for KTA because you literally like use everything and then you just left with having to watch yourself get blown up by a Syndra. Then you have Yu who's just in the base, literally 1v4ing their entire team while their Nexus is getting trounced on. He's actually going to get taken down here. He's going to be forced to pop the GA as it's still Scuzzrat looking up the backside of this, just auto-attacking the Nexus. And they're going to continue to go for kills, but that's going to be all she wrote here. That is going to be Honeyfruit Gaming going to 2-0, while FBI are going to drop to 1-1. What a convincing two-game best-of-3 here from Honeyfruit Gaming as they take the win, and just an astounding performance from them.
Yeah, looked a little shaky in the beginning with how fed Zamuda was getting in the top lane and the Draven dying early on in the bot lane. But able to start pulling it back once the Draven got some kills, once the Renekton, staying in the top lane, wasn't able to help out in other lanes. So your other laners start snowballing. And honestly, shoutouts to Scuzzrat. He deserves the tilt-proof honor ×4 for having to deal with that, man. Like, he got game #1 for first blood. And then he died again shortly after. Like, to live through that as a top laner and still be down 3.5k at the end of the game, even though your team absolutely smashed, it's just kind of a statement to this man's mentality.
Yo, we got to talk about this Gofrino, though, because this man, Yoo-Hoo, is how I'm going to call him. I'll figure out his actual name later. And I apologize. But, like, this man is a monster. He is literally what children are scared of in the middle of the night, because he is the ADC that you look for to carry games. And he did just that in both of these games, on an Aphelios, on a Draven, and just hard carried his team. What a great performance from him in general.
Yeah, I'll have to be checking under my bed tonight for any Yoo-Hoos down there. Anyway, though, still, I just feel like a lot of it was Honeyfruit Gaming was one step ahead in the drafts here, because the bot lane, that was such a feels bad, man. And the only real weak chain link in this Honeyfruit draft was, of course, the top lane, because that was kind of a hard matchup. And then, of course, dying level 1 doesn't exactly help either. So Honeyfruit Gaming just having the better overall draft.
They did indeed. They did indeed. But still, good games there coming out from FBI. They did put up a good fight. Also had to deal with a bit of waiting for Zamudo's connection in game #1. So that definitely threw some uniqueness into the series for sure. But definitely look for them to bounce back next week after this 2-game loss here. And look forward to see what they can pull out. But it is onwards and upwards for Honeyfruit Gaming, who are just looking so dominant this early into the split.
Yeah, with that being said, though, any final words before we send it off for the night, Lemons?
Thank you all so much for staying with us throughout that extremely long pause and the rest of the games. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us here. It has been Lemons. It has been Gofrino.
And Mowgli.
It has been Mowgli. Hey, I was getting to it, all right? I'm not going to forget the most important aspect of it all. Mowgli the cat coming in as the producer here for us for the night. And thank you all again for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Summoner's Rift.